see, I need both the B plates. Both the C's. Both the D's. D. Need E. Need F. Both the I's. Then I'm just missing H in the polycaps. Polycaps right here. These are H. Yep, okay. I'm going to skip the GN drive and the condenser because those have clear parts in them. So I'm going to do something real quick. Okay. Just want to share it on Reddit just now, so let's see. I need the C's here and the H for now. I really wish I had a bigger desk. Can't fit all the runners here. All right, so C1 and C26. What is that? 14.1. Oh, there was something built before this. Where's 6 on this plate? I just realized I cut out the wrong part from this runner. Okay. And what was built before? Something was built before this step, so 14.1, okay. H5. H6. Oops. H17. Connector piece. How is everyone? Hey Rick. How's it going? Good. Do I do it differently from other people? You know I'm a good snipper. 6. I can partly thank the God hands. Yeah, I plan to if I can get enough days off. And if I can find H3 on this plate. Oh, there it is. They're both kind of the same, to be honest. But my Gundam Planet one's broke and my God hands haven't. I expect your store to be filled with nothing but MG balls. That's what I want to see. But I will definitely let you know. I'll put any special requests in. How the hell does this work? There we go. It's weird, you build this piece like upside down. We don't have anime shops per se, like just dedicated just for anime stuff. There's some like in neighboring towns, but we do have a model store that I found that's like really good. So I just need my Gundam. But we do have Youmacon coming up soon, which is this enormous anime convention. And so me and Kristen will both be attending that. I'm trying to get a panel there. I think it's still early enough for me to apply and hopefully have them consider it. Did I put this in upside down? I can't be right. Okay, yeah, there we go. But yeah, for the panel, I want to have some kits to give away, which would be pretty cool. Like have a trivia at the end of the panel, and give away kits. Gunplay and Gundam trivia would be cool. Okay, 3 years later, I finally have this piece done. But now I gotta do it again. See, I got some people joining in, probably from Reddit, since I just shared the link there. Can always be dangerous. You don't know what kind of crowd you'll draw in from Reddit. But the people of our Gunpla are usually really, really nice and accepting and cool. All the weirdos on Reddit. I mean, all across Reddit there's weird people, but in the luckily our Gunpla is usually safe from that stuff, but it, sometimes there's situations where people chime in and just say weird stuff. Like I don't know, they just stumbled upon our Gunpla through like random, but yeah, it could be weird. I remember like one time I posted one of my builds, and this guy commented something along the lines like, I don't know what these are, and I don't know what sub this is, but these are really gay. And I was like, what? Yeah. So. But no, our Gunplays really helped a lot. Went out of his way to be a jerk. Yeah, well, it's easy on the internet, right? Like, when you can insult someone super quickly and then just run away. Yeah, I don't know how out of the way you need to get anymore. Anybody see any good movies? I just got back from seeing It today. Let me tell you. To my phone, it heard Bound by Condoms. Time to change my Instagram. But yeah, I saw It today, and it was fantastic. Really, really good. Pretty hard to find something to complain about in that movie, to be honest. Acting was great. The story was great. The pacing was great. Followed the book pretty well. Not had some like creepy scenes. Not like, I mean, it's not one of those boost spooky house sort of movies. It's the kind that can like it uses its like scares to build story, and it did it really well. I mean, you definitely need to see that movie if you're a horror fan, or well, honestly, if you're just a movie fan. It was just a good movie. And yeah, part two. It's not really a spoiler, but when you're about like an hour, like almost 2 hours into the movie, you kind of realize like it's not going to include the entirety of the book. And you realize like, okay, there's definitely gonna be a sequel, or just like a text scroll at the end, which would have been awful, but luckily they didn't do that. But no, good acting. Special effects were pretty good. The Instagram link in your description is broken. In my okay, that's good to know. I'll fix that. If you want to follow my Instagram, it's Bound by Gundams, all one thing, all lowercase. I don't even think the case matters, but I'll fix it next time around. It's weird. Maybe it's because it's like a private link, so like only I can click it or something. Because I didn't test it with like an anonymous account, but yeah. Talking a little bit more about it. Goes to Bound by Guns. Oh, what the hell? Huh. Yeah, I'll fix it. Just not right now. I'll do it after this stream. It's weird. Is Bound by Guns any good though? Like, is that a good Instagram page? Does it even exist? But yeah, the actor who plays Pennywise, Well, Pennywise in general in this movie is just as good, if not kind of better than the original uh, Pennywise in It. To be honest, I mean they're both great. They both have their strengths, but this one in particular like was really had a lot of character. Was funny when he needed to be funny. Was creepy when he needed to be creepy. And yeah, can't talk highly enough about this movie. Definitely my favorite of the year, to be honest. Yeah, it's true. You can have like really shitty movies after Stephen King, and then you can have really good ones. This one was really good. So it's almost like 50-50. Like I feel like half of the movies adaptations or even show adaptations can be really bad, and then some can be really good. I did not see the Dark Tower, but I heard that it was awful. I've never read the Dark Tower series, so um, I think I put this piece in like kind of crooked. Ow. Yeah. The only reason why I want to buy a mega size model is so I can get that part separator that it comes with. What happened here? Oh crap. Oh, there it is. I think like, so you've got this little piece, and I think this kind of it's like a lock for the GN drive, I think, and it's supposed to slide, I think, but it's not sliding right now. This is the first time I've built the O-Riser, or the sorry, the 00 Gundam, so yeah, this is still crooked. Oh shit. A piece almost flew right off the table. What's going on here? Let me go back a page. Oh, there is a certain way this thing needs to go in. Ah, it's not symmetrical. Okay. Go. So you need the... Alright, got it. Got it. Nothing's worse while building than putting in a piece just ever so slightly off. Well, a piece that looks symmetrical, but you know, there's like a little notch or a little peg or something that makes it asymmetrical, and then you put it in wrong, and then it just nothing works. Yeah, there we go. That's how that's supposed to work. Okay, cool. Alright, what do I need next? I need this big round part from H. Another awful thing is building over carpet and then dropping a piece. Yeah, and if you live in a place like where I live, where I have like heaters on the ground, that shit falls into the heater. Yeah, I've had that happen, and it takes forever to get out. I haven't seen Shawshank Redemption in a long time, but that's a hard movie to forget. The small pieces is partly why I don't like building real grades. It's not my main reason, though. I mean, I talked about it in my Zaku review, but I don't know. They're just not fun to build for me. They're so flimsy, and I know people like to throw around the word fragile when it comes to RGs, and I don't think they're fragile. I just think they're flimsy. Like, it's not like I build an RG and then it just falls apart. Like that for me, that's fragile. I mean, I can knock over RGs and they'll stay together, but just like the fact that they fall over after posing them maybe 3 times or so is why I don't like them. But the detail, man, and the engineering, I can appreciate the engineering in those kits. It's kind of a shame with the RG kits released recently, like the past 5 or so, because you know the first RG was the Granddaddy Gundam. Like, of course, it always starts with the RX-78. But then we got Char Zaku, which, okay, it makes sense. That's another like hero slash villain. But then we got like the regular Zaku, which is just a grunt suit, which is great. And then eventually we got Char Zagok, which, you know, that's not like a super iconic suit, but I mean, I feel like we need more. I know people are asking for like real grade GMs and stuff, but I agree. We need more real grades that are just like grunt suits or something. But I think Bandai's going to be fully focused on giving us like hero suits for a real grade, because I mean, they've been doing it for forever now. And that's kind of annoying. And you can kind of see the reluctance, I guess, to develop a new like grunt real grade, considering the Johnny Ridden real grade is coming out, which is like, I mean, that's basically the you know, the Zaku retooled, obviously. That's old. Like the Zaku was the second real grade. They haven't announced the next real grade, have they? Well, what's it called? There's a hobby show coming up soon in Japan, so we might see it there. It's probably just gonna be the Banshee. Which, if the unicorn, I haven't built the unicorn and I haven't really looked too into it because I don't like real grades. But are the parts like just as small as any other real grade? Because the unicorn is mostly white, so cleaning up nubs on that isn't so difficult. But if they release the Banshee, yeah, I can't imagine cleaning up parts that small and they're black. Like, that would, oh god, I don't even want to think about that. That'd be so annoying. What did this guy say? What did Joseph say? I guess for me, I'm okay with them releasing whatever they want in the RG line, but I feel they are coming out pretty slow. Are they? I feel like they have been releasing them pretty regularly. Like, well, not frequently, but to a sort of schedule. It's kind of 2 or 3 months between real grades. This nub just doesn't want to come off. But yeah, I don't know. Since real grades aren't really my thing, they can release whatever they want. But I know some people, they're clamoring for that specific suit, and some are like reasonable. Like, I think eventually we'll see a real grade God Gundam, which is something a lot of people want. But I don't think we're ever gonna see a real grade GM. And I don't know. If we do, then I'll eat my own hat. But yeah, I think we'll eventually see real grades of nearly every like protagonist suit, except the G Self, because for whatever reason. Well, I know why, but Bandai just hates Reconquista in G. I want that Master Grade G Self. I have to build it in my grave. What are y'all building right now? I know everyone's got to be working on something, right? I'm still waiting for the Assault Buster Pack for the MGV2. We'll probably get it. Like, I think we'll get it. I mean, waiting for the V2 itself took some time. Same thing with like the Devil X Gundam. But I think we'll get it. I mean, wasn't the for whatever reason the HG Buster Assault V2 or whatever it was called was really popular for a short little time. Like, I was seeing reviews of that everywhere. Maybe it's because Zaku Aurelius reviewed it. I feel like once he reviews something, everyone buys the kit. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, after this build, after this commission's done, I don't know what I'll work on next. Now I have like, I mean, originally it was gonna be my urban sniper. I was gonna turn it into like a police sniper and get some like custom Detroit police water slides made. So that'd be super cool. But then I just got a Knights of Sidonia Sugimori in the mail, and I really want to get started on that. I just recently watched Knights of Sidonia and fell in love with it, and now I'm reading it because it just can't end the way it ended in the anime. I refuse. So yeah, I want to like build that while I'm still hyped. And it looks like a fun thing to paint because it comes in like all pure white, like almost the entire kit is white. It has like a little bit of gray for the joints, so you definitely want to paint it. And of course, in the show, the Sugimoris are all. I had the HD. I loved it. I actually bought the plain V2 before the Assault Buster. Epion's a cool suit. Not my thing. I actually don't really like too many of the wing designs, but the Epion like kit itself looks really, really cool in terms of its engineering. Have you seen Kuromukuro? Is that another Netflix like original? Well, original, right? I think I've seen it suggested, I think, on Netflix. But yeah, like I was saying, like I want to build the Sugimori while I'm still hyped up on Knights of Sidonia. And in the show, not only is it not really like pure white, oh, it's a mecha show? Oh, I gotta check it out then. But in the show, the mechs in Knights of Sidonia aren't like, they're not pristine and they're not really white. So I've got to repaint it sort of a lighter gray, and then I gotta weather it. So because I want to make it look really nice, because it was kind of a hard kit to get. It was the last one on Gundam Planet, and yeah, I've been waiting for it, and they finally got one out of the blue, and yeah, so it was not an easy kit to get. And I got the anime version. There's actually two versions out there, the manga and the anime one. And I think the only difference is that the anime one comes with some special water slides. And I think the colors are like ever so slightly different, but yeah. And the water slides on that kit, like they're really crisp. Really crisp. They look so nice. But yeah, I'll check out that the other show on Netflix. Oops. Knights and Magic is cool too. Haven't heard of it, but if you say it's cool, I'll check it out. Okay, this is a little confusing. How the hell does this work? He put this in a certain orientation. There's like little notches in here, but there's like nowhere to lock it. So like, how do you keep it from spinning? Okay, I think I got it. So interesting thing about the Sugimori and Knights of Sidonia. Japanese gunpla otaku is reborn in a fantasy world with magic-powered mechas. Jesus. That's all I got to say. Interesting thing about Knights of Sidonia, this was like a little short that the artist drew in the manga. So he had the story of Knights of Sidonia down, like he knew the story, he knew the characters, but he didn't have like a cool mecha design. And so he thought, well, 3D modeling is really popular right now. Maybe I should get into that and design it in there. But he really, really hated 3D modeling. So, like, he said he wasn't used to the program and it was weird. It's not Photoshop, so he hates it. And so what he decided to do instead was go down to his local hobby store and just buy a buttload of kits. Like, just a buttload of random robot model kits. I didn't get the nubs off of this. And he scratch built the Sugimori, and that's how he came up with the design and like the reference to draw the mechs, which I thought was really cool. And then he said in his little comic, like he invited his producers or executives or whatever to come see his design so that they can, you know, approve it or whatever, give him funding. And he said, I wanted them to like find a proud man and his art, but instead they just found a smelly apartment stacked to like the ceiling with kits and the smell of like glue and sweat. So that was pretty funny. I was like, huh, you know what? That sounds like me IRL. But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool that he scratch built the Sugimori and that's how he came up with the design. And I think that's probably why in Knights of Sidonia, what's her name? I can't remember her name. The green-haired like commander chick builds kits. I think that was just sort of a nod to how he came up with the design, which is pretty cool. Hey Nike, what's going on? Okay, so these are my leg. I like to build over the bottom part of the model kit or of the box, like the white part, so that I can just like let nubs and shit fall in it. I'm sort of a neat freak, so. But 11-hour workday. I've been there, man. But I got this finished and this finished. I'm guessing this is where the GN drives go in. But as I said earlier, I'm not going to build the GN drives yet because I have clear pieces, and I'm going to have to weather those pieces separately, top coat them, then assemble everything. So let's just move on. Polycaps. But I want to check out that, what's it called? Magic and, well, I'll see it I'll look back in the chat, but yeah. I'll check out the other Netflix one. I'm looking for more things to watch, simply because, I don't know. Modern anime has been a little weak, in my opinion. Not like awful. I'm not saying that, but I've been struggling to find something I really enjoy. And I don't just enjoy mecha animes. I enjoy any anime that has a good story and characters. So yeah. I stopped. So I read JoJo, and I'm almost caught up. Ergo Proxy is one of my favorites. I haven't watched Ergo Proxy. I need to. I know about that one. I also need to watch Erased. I never got around to watching Erased. I heard that one's also excellent. What was I talking about? Oh, JoJo. Yeah. How could I forget about JoJo? I stopped watching part 4. Like I've been caught up with the manga for a long while now, and so I still like to watch it because I just like to see the manga in motion, right? But part 4, just like the budget, man. The budget in part 4 was like, what the fuck, guys? Like, I know at the end of part 3 it started to get pretty sketch, but man, there were just parts in part 4 that it's like, what even happened? Why is everyone so ugly? But Erased. I haven't watched any of Erased, but for whatever reason, it reminds me of one of my favorite animes, Paranoia Agent. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Paranoia Agent, but it used to show on Toonami, or not Toonami, sorry, Adult Swim a long time ago. May have been on Toonami when Toonami was still like the original Toonami on Adult Swim, but yeah, no, that's a great. I didn't really understand it when I was a kid, like when it first aired, but then I watched it again when I was older, and then like you really get the like the serious messages about like drug abuse and domestic violence and stuff like that in that show. So it's fucking great. I love it. And when I saw Erased, it for whatever reason reminded me of Paranoia Agent. It's because it's like a murder mystery. Did anybody watch Battle Log 2? The new Build Fighters short? I watched it recently. I think I watched it 2 days ago. It was alright. It was better than the first one. The first one for me was was just really bad. I didn't like the first one at all. Some people thinking it, someone said that it didn't feel it was as good as, I don't know. The first one, like, it was hard to watch. I don't know what about it. It's amazing, honestly. Yeah, it's for kids, but the animation though. Yeah, it's definitely to sell Gunpla, no doubt. But it was entertaining. Try was, pretty lousy. But no, the first battle log was, I don't know, fucking Gunpla Mafia. Like, it's supposed to be silly, but at the same time, I just, I don't know. I was just like, oh, come on, guys. And I don't know. It just couldn't entertain me. The second one was better, but there just wasn't much to it, right? Like they just go blow up the base and then they fight, which everyone saw coming, but I think that's the point. And the Gunpla, I guess, was kind of weak in the second one. You just kind of had, what was it called? The Amazing, what was it called? The Amazing, well, it was the one with the Dryon 3 and the, I think it was called the Amazing Black Warrior, which was like, but whichever it was. Yeah, it was like Lightning Amazing Black Warrior. GM Counterattack is a separate show. Oh, that's right, because Battle Log 1 was the one where it was like Amuro, well, fake Amuro versus fake Char. So what was GM's... Was GM's Counterattack just to sell Gunpla? Probably. I mean, they're all just sell Gunpla. But anyway, so Battle Log 2. Yeah, the Dryon and the Lightning Black Warrior, They've already announced that the Dryon's gonna be a P Bandai, but they're really just recolors. Like almost all of it's just recolor. So you can just make the Lightning Black Warrior by buying the Amazing Red Warrior and repainting it. I think the Dryon has like a different crest and it might have a different weapon, but that's also something pretty easy that you can make. And then the Shinanju Vice, I think it was called, the white Shinanju. That again, you can just repaint. It had like a new weapon and shield, but the shield's like kind of flat and very angular, and so is the sword. So it's like a really good opportunity to practice your plating. That one was announced as a P Bandai as well. So I mean, if you really want, you can go buy the P Bandai, but that color scheme is super easy. I mean, like, if you really want that kit, I highly suggest just getting the HG Shinanju and practicing your painting, and then getting some plate and practicing your sculpting, because it would be pretty fun, I think. But of course, there's always the P Bandai if you don't want to do that. I don't know if the Lightning Black Warrior was announced for P Bandai or not. I did like the in that battle log there was the Barzan. I love the Barzan. Anytime the Barzan shows up, I'm immediately wet. So the Barzan showed up in there in like in spades, and it had a really cool color scheme. It was sort of like evil main Gundam. Lightning Black Warrior is a standard release. Really? Why? It seems like a really weird one to do as a standard release, I think. It's probably the easiest one to do as a standard release, I suppose. But talking about GM's counterattack, yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it. The Gunpla in it were okay. Fenichi's Wing Gundam was barely different from the other Fenichi Wing Gundams. Listen to the way I say Fenichi. And then I liked the Nin Pulse, but it just wasn't very Gundam. Like it really reminded me of Code Geass. Like if you were to drop the Nin Pulse straight into Code Geass, I'd be none the wiser to know it was from Gundam. Doesn't mean it's bad, it's just, to me, not very Gundam. The colors and the design, but it's a pretty cool design. Like, the Nin Pulse for me was the best part of GM's counterattack. What was the other? I don't even remember the other Gundam in that Gunpla or whatever in that show. Oh, of course, the Star Burning Gundam. Oh, that thing is so ugly. Sorry. If you love it, then you love it. But to me, that thing, it really looked like what it was supposed to be. Like between the Build Burning Gundam and the Build Strike. Like it really looked like that sort of transition. But it was really ugly for that reason. The shield especially. I cannot stand the shield on that thing. But again, if you like it, all power to you. So I saw somewhere in the comments the next battle log or next Build Fighter short is supposed to be the Super, or what's it called, the Fumina, the Super Fumina versus the Hyper Gyanko. That'll be entertaining. I'm sure they'll make it pretty silly. It's kind of a shame for those kids a bit. Some people really like them, and you can obviously do some really cool customs with them. I'll talk about one particular custom I saw of the Hyper Gyanko lately, but they teased at the end of the episode. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. When I think about it. Anyways, those kits like the Chino guy, the Super Fumina and the Hyper Gyanko. Like, it's obviously Bandai's attempt to sort of compete with Frame Arms, but yeah, they just don't really look that appealing. But people have done some pretty cool customs with them. One guy on Instagram did a pretty creepy custom of the Hyper Gyanko. So, what Gyanko's supposed to be? Well, she's not legal, right? She's not supposed to be that old. This guy turned her like into this like super scant. Like, well, first he increased the breast size because you always gotta do that, right? And then he turned her into like this really scantily clad, figure, just like in like a thong and like translucent like tube top, and he like grafted on nipples and stuff, and it was a little creepy, man. Like, yeah, I mean, I hate to say that it was impressive, the amount of sculpting work and painting and stuff, because like that clear tube top, like the paint job on it was like, whoa, how did he do that? But yeah. How the hell is this supposed to go on? Oh, got it. Fumino also has been changed. That is creepy, but that's what happens when you give the... Yeah, I mean... I don't know, it's a different culture in Japan, right? But... yeah, I don't know. But technically, she's a 1,000-year-old dragon. I have some friends who can't get into anime because of the big boobies. I'm just like, what's wrong with you? You don't like big boobs? They're like, oh, it's weird and unnatural. I'm like, hell yeah. Anime titty. There was one Fumina custom I saw. I think a bunch of people saw this because it was so impressive. They took the bust, the Fumina bust, and like sculpted an entire lower half and arms and everything, and it was super impressive. Like, really impressive sculpting work. And thankfully they didn't give it a translucent tube top. They just gave it the regular Fumina outfit. But that custom was really, really cool. You have to wonder if the person who did that had like prior sculpting experience, because I can't imagine that sculpting a human is easy. I mean, drawing a human is difficult as it is. Drawing in general is difficult, but there are tricks. An elective I took in college was like drawing 101, and it was just basically still lifes. And I always wondered, like, how the hell do people just put an apple on a desk and then draw it and make it look like as if it's right there in front of you? There's tricks and cheats that you use to do that. It's pretty interesting to learn it. And like, believe it or not, I was able to do that in drawing 101, and it was really, really satisfying. I'm like all over the place here now after talking about that. Is this the H plate I used? Balls, which one? This one. Okay. Am I missing a piece? Did I cut one off? Oh, okay, I need this one for sure. Sometimes with the duplicate plates, I don't know if anyone else does this, but sometimes I'll accidentally like cut off a piece from one plate and like put it down, then accidentally pick up the other plate and cut off another piece from there. But it looks like I didn't do that this time. tell me I'm missing a piece. Nope. Nope, I'm just blind. Piece is right here. So, for anyone sort of more interested in the build, or how I'm building, when it comes to gray pieces, you guys might be noticing that I'm cutting up against the piece. That's because, I don't know, I've been building kits for a while now, so I can sort of tell when certain pieces will be like internal frame or covered up, and I know the nubs will never see the light of day. So I'll just cut up against the piece and just kind of say fuck it. Just sand it down and make sure it's smooth enough that it goes together. You should always do nub cleanup, you know. Even if you cut right up against the piece, you should always clean up your nub, because if you don't, things won't fit together correctly. But yeah, I just kind of use my judgment when building to determine if I need to cut a little bit of the nub, like cut it off with a little bit of the nub remaining, or just cut up right against the piece to save me some time. But if the nub is just really, really large, I'll still cut it off with some nub left. That you just can't get away with. Usually, like, the nubs that you can get away with just cutting right up against them are internal frame and gray parts, and white parts, because, like, you know, when plastic is stressed, it whitens, but if you're cutting off a white piece, then you won't see it, but you still need to trim it down with your X-Acto knife or whatever and sand. Yeah, but for gray, if you cut up against a piece and you do like a fast cut, you actually won't get too much whitening, and then you can just like do what I'm doing here and just scrape the stressed white away, and then you don't even need to worry about it. I don't know. The longer you build, the longer you, or the more you'll see these sort of cheats, I guess I would call them, in building. Earlier, someone mentioned that the link to my Instagram was broken in the description. I just want to throw it out that it's Bound by Gundams. All one thing, Bound by Gundams. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll fix that for the next time I stream or the next time I put up a video. I have it like as the default description for links to all my social stuff. And when I started streaming on, when I started streaming, excuse me, on YouTube, I do it with my phone, and you like have almost no control about what you get to do and say on your phone when it comes to streaming. So you always cut close when it comes to pegs. Yeah, I do too. Like this piece, for example, had nubs on either side of these pegs, and like that's gonna go into something. You'll never see those nubs. You want to shave them down so that they don't, so that they fit into the hole correctly, but you don't have to leave off a bit of nub and then cut like you normally would. Yeah, going back to talking a bit about builds. Uh, man, I I guess I don't know if I chose the best time or the worst time. So I took a break from Gunpla for a few months, a couple months back, and when I did, I had just gotten the GM Sniper 2, um, and it was in like the cardboard box, like the shipping box, and it just sat in my living room for the longest time, like still in that box. And then when I got back, I was like, I want to start building again. Uh, I had forgotten about it, so and I was super excited for that kit when I initially got it, and so it just sat there. I built some other kits, and I remembered like, oh yeah, well, I think I watched like Zaku Aurelius's review. I was like, damn, I want that kit, and I was like, wait a minute, I have that kit. Damn, have I really like forgotten about it? Um, so yeah, now it's still not built, and it's a shame, but at the same time, it gave me time to think about the custom I want to do with it. So, because it's almost like everyone has customized it, right? Like nearly every, I've seen very few GM Sniper 2s in their original color. Everyone seems to repaint them. But I mean, I can understand why the blue. The blue is really, really polarizing. First one you ever paint. It'll be my first master grade I ever painted, like fully. I've done HGs, and I tend to prefer HGs just because I like to work with smaller stuff when it comes to painting. Because I don't know, I don't really like airbrushing, to be honest. It's not fun for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just lazy, but I'm gonna repaint this sniper with spray cans, which may or may not be a mistake, but we'll see. I think the colors I picked are pretty good. For those of you who weren't here earlier, I talked about it a little bit. I want to make a police custom urban sniper because to me, the urban sniper, like, I could imagine seeing that as a mech that police force would use. Why police force would ever need a mech is, I'll leave that up to your discretion and your imagination, but what I want to do is make it in the style, I guess, of the Detroit police, because I live in Detroit, and their comp cars are pretty cool. Like the modern Detroit police cars, they have like the Detroit skyline on the side, and I mean, they're typical police colors, but yeah, I mean, so I want to do that. I want to do that for the urban sniper, and I want to make like custom water slide decals. Why wouldn't you want a mech? Well, I guess that's a good argument, right? Yeah, it's just like there's a car chase going on, you just but could you imagine like you get a knock on your door like police open up, and you don't open up, and like a GM sniper just kicks down your house? Anyways, yeah, so I want to make custom water slides, and one custom water slide I want to make is like the Detroit skyline, which would be super cool. But yeah, gotta get those made or make them myself. I love Pat Labor. I haven't seen like too much of Pat Labor, but I've seen like a few, like two of the movies, and yeah, Pat Labor's super cool. It's like the Japanese RoboCop, and I love RoboCop. It's one of my favorite movies. And it's not because I'm from Detroit. I've loved that movie ever since I was little, and I'm not originally from Detroit. But, fun fact, not a single scene in that movie was filmed in Detroit. All the city scenes were filmed in Dallas, Texas, and the factory scenes were filmed in Philly. So, whenever someone asks you, like, Is Detroit as shitty as it is in RoboCop? Just tell him. Talking about Dallas. It's timeless. To me, RoboCop is timeless. Shit. I just knocked all the runners off my desk, but most of these are empty. But yeah, so I recently watched RoboCop because I got it on Blu-ray like a year ago, and I hadn't watched it in a long time. And watching it, I was like, none of this looks like Detroit. Like not a single. Was this filmed in Detroit? And that's when I looked it up and realized no, it was not filmed in Detroit. It was filmed in Dallas. So. Speaking of like Detroit and entertainment, Detroit Become Human is coming out relatively soon, I think. I don't know, but I'm really excited for that game. Oh, let me put a polycap on this. I'll buy that for $1. That documentary about Detroit wasn't filmed in Detroit at all. The movie Detroit. No, parts of it was. Parts of it were. I saw that movie like the opening day, and if you know this about film, if you stay till the very end of the credits, it'll tell you where it was filmed. It'll say like filmed on location in blank blank and blank. That movie was almost entirely filmed in Detroit. I mean, some scenes might have been sets and fabricated, but like there are scenes in there that are in Detroit. Yeah, I mean, there were parts in there that were like definitely like, okay, these are sets, this isn't actually Detroit, but there were definitely parts in there where I was like, oh, I know that street. It's like that's LaSalle, like no doubt. But yeah, Detroit Become Human is gonna be a super cool game. I mean, and admittedly, who's the guy who makes those games? I forget his name. He made Beyond Human and Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain was really good. Beyond Human was pretty mediocre, but his games are just like they're just kind of interesting. He has a pretty good imagination, so even if the game itself is pretty meh, I can appreciate the world building and the experimentation with the story. Of course, you can't deny Willem Dafoe. Speaking of Willem Dafoe, anybody see Death Note on Netflix? I want to hear some people's thoughts first, because I've seen it. You know I saw it. If you haven't seen Death Note, and you're a fan, you should watch the Netflix one anyways, no matter how much I'm about to trash it, just to see this crazy adaptation that Americans take it to. It's it's just so like, wow, I didn't know you could turn Death Note into that. Yeah, if you didn't like the anime, then you will definitely not. Well, maybe you'll like the American version, but I don't know. But yeah, so Death Note, Netflix original. I know when they originally saw it, or originally premiered the trailer, it got like tremendous backlash, which now that I've seen it, it deserves it, but at the time, I mean, I love the Death Note anime. It's fucking great, but you know, I was open minded to the idea of an Americanized Death Note. I didn't. I mean, we tend to fuck things up, but Netflix did put out Castlevania, which if you haven't watched that, you should. Um, this nub is really really bad. Hold on. But so I went into watching Death Note with an open mind, thinking like, you know what, if it's good, I'm just gonna judge it on its own merits, and on its own merits, it's awful. Like it's really bad. Acting's really bad. Story has plot holes all over the place. Pacing of the story is also just awful. Willem Dafoe was great. I'll give him that. Like Willem Dafoe as Ryuk was, he basically played Green Goblin again in terms of his sort of character and acting, but it fitted Ryuk really really well. So I'll give him that. Otherwise, the worst part for me was just the story. There's just too many plot holes. Like, can I use Tamiya / Mr. Color spray paints on my Gunpla? Yeah. Why not? No, you totally can. I mean, they're meant for plastics and stuff. Make sure you prime first, though. Always prime before you paint. What was I saying? Yeah, so talking about Death Note again. So the biggest problem were the plot holes. The biggest plot hole was, if you haven't seen Death Note, then maybe not listen to this part of the stream, but there's a part, and it's kind of early in the anime, so I guess it's not that big of a spoiler, but there's a part where L Light's like, you know, so Light's killing people, whatever. L wants to find him and expose him, so he puts out a decoy on TV to say like, I'm L, I'm going to stop Kira, etc., etc. And so Light, out of anger, writes down his name in Death Note. The guy dies on TV, but then the real L like takes over the network or whatever and says like, haha, I got you. I know what you can and can't do because you can't kill me right now because you don't know my face and you don't know my real name, right? So like in the anime, he tricks him. It makes sense. In the Netflix movie, the real L comes out on stage and starts talking on TV, and he just says like, kill me, Kira, like I'm right here. And of course Light can't do it, and somehow he deduces that he needs a face and a name from that. But that doesn't make sense, right? Like, how does he even know Kira was watching TV? In the anime, Kira kills the guy on live TV, so like obviously that was, you know, he was watching. But in the movie, or the Netflix or whatever, the movie, you know, you can't deduce that. It's super illogical. And then because he didn't die, because nobody died, he doesn't know that he needs a face and name. So that was the biggest plot hole, and that one was like really ruined it. I mean, it was already kind of ruined at that point, but yeah. Yeah, there were several parts like that, and the characters are all over the place. Like Light's a complete idiot. Misa, who's Mia in the movie, is her motives are like, what the hell? They don't make any sense whatsoever. Ryuk has a secret motive that is never ever revealed. Just super annoying because they built it up a lot, but they never do anything with it. Let's see, Light's dad was totally unimportant. L is actually one of the more tolerable characters because he actually showed a bit of personality and character development. But at the same time, he just his story was just kind of screwed by the writers. So I can't get this nub completely cleaned up. Like, the stress mark just really got deep. So when I paint it, I'll make sure to paint over that. Or when I start my weathering. But yeah, L again was probably the most tolerable character, aside from Willem Dafoe and Ryuk. But it's not saying much. And the ending, like the last, I mean, the whole thing felt rushed, but like you're going at like Mach 10 in the last 20 minutes of the movie. I remember one of the initial things, and this is so stupid, but one of the original complaints of the American nice version of the Death Note movie on Netflix is that, oh, none of the actors are Asian. It's like, why you gotta bring race into it, man? Like, it's an Americanized version. They've got, specific roles and specific needs. I mean, I'm a film minor, so I know about like casting and stuff, and it's like when you write the character like bio or whatever, like, if you want the person to be like a 17-year-old white guy, you write 17-year-old high school white student or whatever. I mean, it's totally up to you what kind of character you want. So I thought that was really dumb, that complaint. I think the same thing happened. What movie was it? Was it the Dragon Ball movie? Yeah, I don't remember. Some movies people complain no one was Asian in it. This is silly. What do you think on the new figurized standard Dragon Ball kits? I haven't built any, so I don't know if I'm really at liberty to give an opinion. But they look cool. And I know. Okay, I think I can speak on one thing about those kits. Because I've seen it. The wrists are really, so you've got a regular wrist joint, right? But the hand is really, really far away from the, like, I guess more solid piece, and it looks really weird. And so that's pretty bad. That was cool. So the way the double O risers, or the O riser is gonna plug in is through this little hole, and then it's like a little door. That's neat. The sculpts on the Dragon Ball figures are really nice, though. I guess I can say that too. I mean, I've seen them again. So the sculpt work. I mean, Bandai's really good at sculpting stuff, except when it comes to their like Super Fumina and Hyper Gyanko and stuff. But do I plan on getting some? Probably not. I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball fan. I was when I was a kid, but then I don't know. It's part of my childhood, like everyone else. But I think it's more nostalgia. I think people like Dragon Ball just because of the nostalgia. Because I tried watching it again because I was feeling nostalgic. I wanted to watch some Dragon Ball, and I realized like this isn't as entertaining as I remember. That's just me, though. And honestly, for those kind of figures, like, if I wanted to do a sort of model of a Dragon Ball figure, right, I would probably buy like a resin kit or something, a fixed pose, to paint and stuff. I wouldn't buy a playable figure because, with a model kit I would want to paint it or do something with it, so I wouldn't want to play with it or pose with it. If I want a posable Dragon Ball figure or something, I would just buy like the Figure Arts or the S8 or the Figma or something. I don't hate it. I'm not saying I'm not saying that I hate it. I'm just saying like I just don't enjoy it as much as I did as a kid. Yeah, I know there are those like haters who say like, "Oh, it's awful. Why did anybody like this show?" No, I don't think it's awful. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I tried watching Super, and Super is very, very much like the original, which is cool. It has the same spirit and heart and character and everything like that as the original, but I couldn't get into Super at all. I did enjoy what was the movie called? Battle of the Gods. I did enjoy that, and I saw it in a theater, which was super cool. Another give super inertia. I think it's at its best right now. Yeah, one of the complaints I heard from a friend who I think he still watches it, but he's a super big Dragon Ball fan. One of the complaints he had was it just nothing's really happening. There's no real big bad guy. There's no real threat to Earth or something like that. He was just saying like, no, you don't feel the same sort of threat you would feel in like the Cell Saga or whatever, the Frieza saga. But yeah, I don't know. I might. But yeah, the only figurized Dragon Ball kit I may consider would be Cell. I love Cell. Like perfect Cell. Actually, I like any version of Cell. They were all pretty cool. But yeah, I just love Cell's design. What 100 IBO kits do I have? I have the Grays, the standard release, which I bought a long time ago. But I want to do something interesting with that kit. I've had that custom plan for a long time. I just haven't gotten around to it. And I have the Barbatos Lupus. The Barbatos Lupus was a gift for Reddit Secret Santa. And I was going to do a whole series on, like, I would film, like, from start to finish the build of that, but I just never really... and I was going to edit it, not make it, like, 5 hours long. I was going to, like, edit it into a nice, presentable video, but I just never got around to it. It's still sitting in the box, unfortunately. The Grays. Grays. What I want to do with the Grays is, has anybody seen Girls in Panther? Panther. Girls in Panzer. The anime with the girls who, like, pilot or drive tanks and shit. I really enjoyed that show for whatever reason. I won a DVD at a convention that had the entire series on it, and I was like, oh, okay. But then I watched it, I was like, this is really entertaining. I don't know, for whatever reason, I love Girls in Panzer. But I want to take, so the main tank in that show is called, like, they call it the Goosefish tank, and they have, like, a little emblem and stuff, and I want to turn the Grays into a Goosefish custom, which I think would be pretty nice, and, like, make some custom water slides for it and stuff, and kind of make it into, like, a tank. I'll get to your question in a sec, but yeah, but then they released the Grays, what was it called? The Grays custom, or the Grays ground type, the one with the big ass cannon on his shoulder. So then they released that, and so I want that instead. So I'm thinking about selling the regular release and then buying the one with the cannon, because I mean I want it to be like a tank, right? So it needs a cannon. Have I built Kotobukiya kits? Not fully. I haven't built a full Kotobukiya. I know that sounds weird. I haven't built a full Kotobukiya set. My friend in college got the Raptor Zoid, and for whatever reason he, like, wanted me to build half of it. I'm not really sure why, but I built, like, half of it and then gave it to him, and then he finished it. So that's the only Kotobukiya thing I ever touched. But now I have a Knights of Sidonia Sugimori Kotobukiya kit, so I will be building one soon. Do I really think the PG Exi is coming out? I think the question is, do I particularly care? Not really, to be honest. I'm not a big PG guy. I mean, I built one PG. It was the RX-78. Probably one of my best kits I ever did. I fully detailed out the frame, completely weathered it and made it look really nice. Even replaced the LED with a yellow one, because it comes with a green one for whatever reason. And for those of you who don't know or haven't built an older PG kit, they don't take LED units they take, like, you have to build like the LED yourself. It comes with like the wiring and the little LED. So for whatever reason, it came with a green bulb. So I had to go out and buy a yellow bulb and then trim down the contacts and stuff. And it wasn't hard, but that's the sort of care I went that I put into that kit. But that being said, I mean, those are really time-consuming kits, PGs, and if you just straight build them, of course it's a lot faster, but they're just so detailed that it's almost a crime not to do any sort of detailing or painting on it. So if I get another PG kit, I'm going to spend some serious time with it. Do you plan on getting Zoids? I don't like Zoids, so probably not. There's a gimmick locking the binder at houses GN so it can be posed and stay. Oh yeah, I know about the MG 00 riser. Like, I did research on it before I started building it. But again, when it comes to PGs, the next PG I want to get is probably going to be a Zaku, because the Zaku is like my favorite suit. The RX-78 was a gift from my girlfriend, but for either the Zaku or the GPO2. Or GPO2, GPO1. But my problem with the GPO1 is that it comes with the full burn-in version and the regular version, and it's like, do I really want that many leftover pieces? I don't know. What do I need next here? Why did it say I need B? Oh, for the GN drives. Duh. But yeah, I like PG kits. I just say I'm not a fan because I just don't own that many. I do kind of want the PG unicorn, but I'm a little like unicorned out, and I haven't built one in a long time. You want the PG 00 riser? Word of warning for the PG 00 riser. Are you cutting out the condenser ties and giving it to the person? Yes, he's getting everything that's going to be in this box, so I will have the condenser for him as well. Anyways, word of warning about the PG 00 riser. It only the stand. You'll see pictures of it on a stand, right? And it's a special stand that's only for the PG 00 riser. It only came with like the early releases. So if you were to buy a PG 00 riser now, it won't have a stand, and that thing needs a stand. I want the PG 00 riser, but the RG is vastly superior to the MG in every way. I have no idea. I haven't built the RG. It is pretty cool that in the RG they were able to get the locking mechanism and getting the binders working so well. Someone asked, what do I think about the RG unicorn? I haven't built it, so I can't say. I mean, from what I've read, if the transformation doesn't cause it to implode, so that's good. Other than that, I have no idea. Just looking through the messages. PGs are. Oh, I heard the 00 riser also has like a motorized like GN drives, which is super cool. That is really cool. I would buy that kit and just build the GN drives, just to see that mechanism work. Oh, they're already built? Then I would buy the PG 00 riser, take the GN drives, and then deconstruct them to see what makes them work the way they do. I mean, it's probably super simple. Like how about the RG Shinaju? Is that a bad kit? I'll talk about it in a sec. I'm sure it's just a super simple like motor with a battery, but yeah. The RG Shinaju, I haven't built it. You have to you have to understand two things about me. One, I won't give an opinion on a kit I haven't built. I'll say some things about it that I know, but I won't give an opinion. Two, I don't like real grades. So there you go. That's two things you know about me. I'm technically a software engineer, but I'm I don't know. I'm a field engineer. I'm like a regular old engineer. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, my dislike for RGs. I've only built the red frame, the Amatsu Mina, and the Zaku 2. So those are the only kits I have opinions on. But yes, the reason why I would want to open up the GN drive is because of my curiosity. I'm like having a brain fart about how to put this thruster in. I don't know why it's even able to go in other than... One sec. What the hell? Oh, there we go. Weird. Yeah, the one thing I know about the RG Shinanju is that it reuses the Mark II frame, and you're going from like a relatively small Mobile Suit design to like a really big one. So yeah, the gold trim is separate, which is super cool. How the hell is this supposed to go in? Oh, that is a really, really weird way to... Okay, so the thrusters here move, right? But you're not going to be able to see it. But the way they attach is weird. Like, there's a clip in there and then a bar. So, it pivots around there. But it doesn't go up. It actually goes, like, into the backpack. Like, it connects this way. So if you were to position it all the way up, you can just kind of see the internals there, and that's a little silly. I imagine most people would just have it down like this. Okay, next thruster. Who knows? We could still get Trans Am versions of that. I'm not too big fan of the Trans Am releases of those kits anyways. I mean, I think we all knew it was just a gimmick. Because, like, if you've ever worked with gloss-injected plastic from Bandai, you'll know that it's a bit of a fuck. The nubs are really bad, and you can't even really clean them up because then you screw up the gloss coating, and you still don't remove the nub. The Quanto wasn't Trans. I haven't seen the movie in so long, so I don't even remember. I totally forgot it even went Trans Am. Hey, if the what's it called? The Zaku Cannon can get an MGP Bandai release. I believe anything can get a release. That thing showed up for like 2 seconds in Gundam Unicorn. But of course you've got like the oh crap. Oh no. Oh wait, am I okay? Oh no, I'm good. I saw you ask the question, do I buy my kits, or do I order them, or do I buy them from a hobby shop? Both. I have a hobby shop nearby that has Gundam kits, and if they don't have what I'm looking for, then I'll just order it. Alrighty. I just need to attach the mounts for the GN connector, or GN whatevers, and should be done. Yeah, it's a shame I couldn't get these nubs completely cleaned up on the backpack here on the blue parts. Are there hobby shops that sell Gunpla in Detroit? Yeah, there are. Detroit has 500,000 people in it, and then Metro Detroit, the outside, has over 500,000 people in it, so someone was bound to open up a shop. Now, we have a few, well, a handful that has Gunpla. The shop I go to has a really good selection. You have some, like, they're priced super fairly. Anyone in the Detroit area, it's called Great Lakes Hobby and Toy. They have a really good selection, and their prices are like super fair. Pretty much they price their stuff at MSRP. Okay, so this is the Double O Risers backpack. Sans GN drive, because as I mentioned, I'm not building that because it has clear pieces. I'll have to snap out the pieces individually and weather them, but I won't do that right now. Just taking a look at it here. Some of the nubs I couldn't clean up on the inside here for whatever reason. They're just not happening, but that's okay. This is the part that plugs onto the back, so those nubs aren't even going to show. Guessing this is the mechanism. Oh yeah, oh, that's cool. So, did you do the accessories and weapons yet? No, I always do those last. I'd like to see the movie suits all get RGs or MGs. They deserve it. Double O is my second favorite Gundam series. I would just like to see more. More MGs of just the regular 00 suits, like the Arios and the Dynamis and stuff. But the 1 to 100 non-grade ones of those are really, really good. You've got to do some detail painting, but they're really not that bad. Do you plan on entering in GBWC? No. So this is pretty cool. You have like this locking mechanism someone mentioned earlier, so it can be down like this, or you can put it up, and then there's a little lock, so this isn't going to go down. And then whenever the 00 riser goes on there, of course this is going to be essential for keeping it in place. I don't think we need new HGs of the 00 Gundams. They're really good. Like, for HGs, they're really, really good. I don't think a revive could do too much. But yeah, as you're saying, like, the problem is Bandai's not releasing a lot of MGs, so seeing MGs of like this old series, old quote unquote series, just isn't very likely. I don't even know what we're gonna do with MGs. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't keep your hopes up for the side 00 protagonist. Well, protagonist, that's not the right word. Don't keep your hopes up for the other Gundams in the 00 series. I mean, I don't know. They made an MG of the GNX, so I guess anything is possible, right? But yeah, I don't think they're running out of ideas. I think they're just they're releasing stuff, suits and MG, so anything is possible. Yeah, anything could happen. We just kind of have to wait and find out. But I don't think Bandai's running out of ideas. I think they're just releasing things that'll make them the most money and targeting that. I think the biggest reason why they I was gonna say the biggest reason why we haven't seen a lot of master grades is because of IBO, and they had this whole 1/100 kit or line planned, and as we all know, those all share the same frame, so they didn't have to like develop too much, spend too much money on engineering and design. And I think they were just banking on that being popular, and lo and behold, I mean they marketed it really well. IBO was like one of the best marketed gun campaigns ever. And as you can see, like the HG and the non-grades sold super well, so why would they put more money into the master grades at this point? The 1/100 no grade IBO line was a waste of money. I don't know, not for Bandai. What is the worst MG you have ever built? The master grade Banshee. Yep. The master grade Banshee. It was pretty bad. Even just building it was pretty bad. It looks cool when it's all done, but I painted that thing, and I don't know, the transformation just is frustrating, and the posability is almost non-existent. The most disappointing one I built was the, I'm not done, so I'm just putting some stuff away. I'm gonna line this real quick. The most disappointing I built was the MGXia, because it looks so good, and it was so much fun to build, but it's a loose mess. And you just seriously just can't pose it without the legs falling down and its arm dropping and everything, so you have to do something to tighten up the joints, but even then, I don't know if it would really benefit. I do want an MG Barbatos, for sure. Like, for me, my favorite Barbatos variation was the original, like, just Barbatos Form 4 with the big, like, Knight Pauldrons. That's my favorite one. I didn't really like anything that came after that. So I would definitely buy an MG of that. More MG Age series kits. What could they make out of Age? Be cool to see like an MG Farzia or an MG crap, what was the bad guy's name? I want to say I almost said MG Lucifer, but I don't think Satan has ever appeared in Gundam yet. What's it called? The MZ Legalia or something like that. It was like the bad Gundam at the end of the show. I don't remember. I'm just thinking like how I'm gonna line this without staining my work area. Actually, let me grab the mobile suit. So, for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram or haven't seen my post on or saw my Reddit post, I have the MS done here. It looks really nice. I'm just going to see how this connects onto the back and see what can and can't be seen. So, alright, so you can see part of the back. So will I ever build a third-party kit? I won't buy it myself. Is that what you're wondering? I made a video a while back on how I feel about bootleg, so you can go and watch that. My base, like, the short version is I don't buy bootleg kits, and again, you can watch that video for the reasons why. But thank you for the compliments on it. It is looking quite nice. Yeah, you got the Legolas. That's right, it's named after Orlando Bloom. But if someone were to gift me a third-party kit, I wouldn't turn it down. I would build it. But no, personally, I'm not going to buy any bootleg kits. And again, you can watch that video to see my reasons why. So I'm going to take this off and start lining it. Yes. Last I checked, Orlando Bloom played Legolas in Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to go ahead and line this a bit. I might cut out the parts for the GN drives. Yeah, Will Turner. It took me a second to get that. I'm not the biggest Pirates of the Caribbean fan, but yeah, it took me a second to remember who Will Turner was. I thought he was actually an actor. I forgot he's just a character. Did you watch the recent spin-offs too, or just the main 3? The only Pirates of the Caribbean movie I liked was the first one. The rest for me were pretty mediocre. What's the Johnny Depp though? He's great in all of them. I can find saw Dead Man Tell No Tales. Is that the newest one, or the one coming out, or what? I don't know. I haven't seen the newer ones because I don't really like Pirates of the Caribbean. What is your preferred type of paints? Acrylic, enamel, or lacquer? Depends what I'm doing. I use all 3. If I am using spray cans, I prefer lacquer. If I'm weathering or doing detailing, I prefer enamel. If I'm completely repainting, like airbrushing, I'll use acrylic. And I do use acrylic for black weathering, like doing chipping with black, because for whatever reason I find that it works a little bit better, because it dries faster. Yeah, most if not all spray cans are lacquer based, but they do. You can find acrylic based ones, but you definitely want lacquer ones. It's not too many lines on this this piece. How am I gonna hold this? I'm liking the questions. It's always fun to answer questions. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold this like this. Whoop, whoop. There's more lines on the inside of this thing than the outside. I'm assuming there's probably more details on the GN drive, since that's what's mainly going to be going on this. The main attraction of these side binder things are just going to be the GN drives. There we go. There's a line hidden under this bracket piece. Have you ever built some of LMHG Evangelion kits? No. No. I had the EVA 1 on my wish list for the longest time on Gundam Planet, but I don't know. I didn't really want it anymore, so I took it off. I do love Evangelion, though. It's one of my favorite shows. Haven't seen it in a very long time, but yeah. I probably can't even tell you the story anymore of Evangelion. uh, I haven't bought a Switch game in a while, but uh, when I do, I still look them. Have I watched the OVAs? Yes, I have watched the OVAs. They're okay. Um, I've also seen the movies, which I uh, like some of the older movies, and those are pretty bad. Don't watch the movies for the Evangelion story. You won't get it. You won't understand a single thing. But yeah, the OVAs are okay. Yeah, there's not much coming out for the Switch, but should be seeing more. I'm super excited for Monster Hunter, and I'm super excited for Mario Odyssey, of course, as everyone is. For whatever reason, I don't know if anybody heard, LA Noir just got announced for Switch, which it's not a game I would put at the top of my I want to play this again list. But whatever. But with Gunpla Expo coming soon, there's bound to be a ton of Gunpla that I want to buy. Yeah. Fortunately for me, I'm not a big fan of Build Fighters, so I'm not tempted too much by Build Fighter kits, which is what Bandai really likes to make a lot of nowadays. Switch got the shit out of the stick. I don't know. I still say it's too early to say if the Switch well, it's not a failure because they sold so many. I'll answer your question in a second, Laser Gator. But I don't know. Is it true that enamel paints destroy polystyrene on Gunpla kits? Not that I've witnessed. Okay. This is something a lot of people have a misconception about. Yes, enamel technically eats plastic, right? If you put like a glob of enamel onto a piece and just like leave it, yes, it will make the plastic weak. Same goes for enamel thinner, like mineral spirits or just paint thinner in general. How you avoid this, brittleness is to do thin coats. So with enamel, just thin coats of paint and you're okay. Make sure to prime your piece if you're doing a full repaint, but I tend to just paint straight onto the plastic. And then with thinner, I use thinner to clean up the Tamiya panel line accent here. Just don't let the thinner sit on the piece for too long. Just like when you clean up, right? Use like the dry end of a towel or your Q-tip and get the excess thinner off the piece. It's really that simple, and then it'll be okay. It's not like once you touch enamel to like polystyrene or thinner polystyrene, it's suddenly brittle now and it's gonna break. No, that's not the case. Test it on a sprue first, not the actual piece. Yeah, I don't actually. So I would suggest painting like that for sprues and stuff to see if you like the color, but I mean, it all depends on like thickness and stuff. Testing like enamel paint for like plastic rigidity, on a sprue versus like a flat thin piece is going to be different. But the general advice is it's okay. Model kits are meant to be painted, so Bandai just makes it easy to have something looking decent from a snap build. But if you do a full repaint, prime. Always prime your pieces. I can't stress that enough. Because you want to get it's not necessarily for like saving the plastic purposes. It's you want to get all your pieces, with a good neutral base with either gray or white. That way the color comes out consistent. And you also want to give the surface a good like texture and grit so that the paint sticks on smoothly. If you don't prime, your paint will tend to have a tendency to glob up, and that's when you see these builds with like thick paint on them, even with an airbrush. Like the safest paint to use, it doesn't have. Yeah, so acrylic paints are the safest paint to use for you and for plastic, but acrylic dries faster. So if you're hand painting, acrylic's probably the worst option because it dries so fast it doesn't have time to settle and create a smooth surface. And if you're airbrushing, I airbrush with acrylics, so yeah. But if you're airbrushing, you need to do multiple thin coats. So it's, you can sometimes buy like spray paint that says like one coat lacquer, and they mean one coat. Like you just go and then that piece is done. It's painted. But for acrylic, you've got to do multiple thin coats. So it depends on what you're willing to sacrifice, I guess, like time, quality, or cost, because acrylic paints tend to be cheaper as well. So yeah, I paint with acrylics when I repaint something, and they come out fine. But I do all the preliminary work. I prime my pieces. Well, I sand them. Okay. I keep remembering steps I do before. I wash the pieces in soap and water to get rid of the oil that they use to mold pieces. I sand them to make sure that the primer sticks to the piece well. I prime it, and then I paint. So, it's painting is a multi-step process, but to get a good result, that's what you need to do. I mean, good things take time. I'm gonna cut out the pieces for the GN drive. Why not? So I can stream a little longer. Put this right here. Yeah, I'm not saying you need to. I'm not saying anyone needs to paint. You don't need to do anything. Like, you don't need to watch me stream. Please don't leave. But, when you want to take your model further, when you see... So here's the thing. Most people, they see builds online. They're like, wow, that's a great looking build. And if it's a painted kit or a weathered kit or something, like, wow, I wish I could get to that. Well, you got to start. I mean, you got to start doing it. Don't be afraid of failure or whatever. If you see a super nicely painted kit and you want that and you wish you could do that, then just start working on doing it. Just really just do it, it's because sometimes I see people comment and stuff on builds that they say, oh, I wish I could do this or something, or they ask, or for example, they ask about paint and then they're told this and then they reply with, oh, that's really good advice. I'm not at the level of painting yet, but after I snap build like 3 or 4 more kits, then I'll do it. I don't know. My very first kit, and I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying, like, I guess I kind of learned trial by fire, right? My first kit was the MG Johnny Ridden Zaku 2.0, blah, blah, blah. And I battle damaged and weathered the kit, and I painted some things on it, so I kind of did, like, the whole shebang. And it came out pretty good. Like, I had some help, yeah, but I watched a bunch of tutorials. I read a bunch of articles and stuff. Like, I prepared myself, like, with the knowledge, the strength, the street knowledge, and then I started to do it. I just did it, and it came out decent. Like, it came out, admittedly better than most people's first builds. And it was something I was really proud of because I put so much work into it. I've snap built kits in the past, like just snap it up and leave it, and for me it's not satisfying. Maybe I have the high of painting kits, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. putting more work into something and then seeing it done uh, is something that feels really good. But you can always be better. Never think that the kit that you spent so much time with is your magnum opus. Your magnum opus will never be done in Gunpla. Spellscard, I think, is what they called it. I'm wanting them so bad. Oh yeah. They didn't just do that for Wing. They did it for Seed as well. The mobile suit in action. All right, man. You take it easy, Cyber Dragon. Thanks for tuning in. I'll definitely be streaming some more because I kind of want to stream the rest of this build because it's been really fun. Nice. Exia Transam. Nice. Do you plan on doing the decals on it? I don't think I would because of the gloss injection and the clear pieces. Well, actually, if you're doing the regular Trans Am, then I think the only clear pieces are the GN drives and stuff. What was I doing? I was cutting out these pieces. Ow. F. Why did I need F? The MG Exia, by the way, I mentioned earlier in the stream, but detail and looks are absolutely perfect. It's like they took it right out of the anime and turned it into a kit. However, it is very annoying to pose. And if you don't top coat it and you don't paint over it, it's going to be a pretty loose kit after posing it like once or twice. Okay, so why do I need this plate? It's claiming I need F. But I don't see anything that I need F for. Okay, I don't need F. I need D and H. I threw them back into the box. I like to use the upper part of the box, the one with the art, as my runner holder, and then I use the bottom of the box for the nubs and stuff, and then I just throw out the bottom of the box. Yeah, after any RG, decaling it just isn't appealing. The annoying part is getting the GN sword in the hands and trying to store the GN longsword. So I don't have the longsword or the short sword stored on my Exia for the reason that it's super annoying and difficult, and I don't like the look of it. And I agree, the GN sword is a complete pain to get in his hand and hold and do anything with. But yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, I could just pop that in the back. Okay, so I'm gonna cut out this gray piece. So the way this GN drive is constructed is you got the clear piece that goes into a gray piece that goes into the white piece on top that then feeds into the other white piece. But I can just put the gray piece into the top white piece, weather that, then weather the base, and then put the clear piece in between. That makes sense. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna weather tonight, but I'm going to cut out the pieces. I will be streaming me weathering this, just FYI. I don't think I'll stream me decaling it because that's not very exciting. But a bunch of people enjoyed me weathering the legs or whatever the hell I weathered last time. I don't even remember. Yeah, it was the legs because I did the feet. Remember? For the accessories on this guy, I'm not going to weather them the same way I weathered the rest of the kit because it's not going to make a lot of sense on the weapons. I'll do it a little differently. I'll just cut out the GN condensers while I'm here. From what I've seen, the GN condensers actually glow a bit better than the GN drives on this kit when you put in the LED. And I am probably like the only person in the world that actually prefers the GN condensers over the GN drives on the Double O riser. For me, the kit just benefits more, or the design benefits more from more gray. But we're almost finished up here after I assemble this. Maybe I'll line it and then probably gonna finish the stream. So a few more minutes. Are you getting the? I don't plan on getting any more 00 MGs. I just Double O is not one of my favorite shows, and I don't really like any of the 00 designs. I only like the Exia and the Dynamis, and I have the Dynamis, haven't built it yet, and I've already built the Exia. I do like the Arios, like, to a degree, and I might eventually get the HG of that, because I don't know if I'd really want to. I don't know. The 1:100 does look pretty cool, but the proportions are a little weird on it. The legs are, like, they're kind of weird. What's your #1 favorite Gundam show? Like, full series, or can we do side stories? Well, I guess I'll answer both. Okay. If we're talking all Gundam, you know, even including Gundam Twilight, my favorite is 0080 War in the Pocket. Amazing story, amazing character, amazing premise, just perfect length is, for me, and I think for many, it's one of the best shows. If we're talking like, yeah, full series, probably Zeta. Probably Zeta Gundam. I love Zeta. It's a really, really good show. Manga only series. I haven't read. The only Gundam manga I've read is Origins and Thunderbolt. And those have series now. So, yeah. But no, Zeta, I can't talk more highly of Zeta. I not really, because I don't really like the design aesthetics of the 3.0 Granddaddy Gundam. I don't think I would want a 3.0 of either of those kits, excuse me. But I do want I don't have the master grade of the Zeta or the Mark II. I want them. I want them bad. Zeta Verka would be pretty cool. I want to see how the double Zeta Verka comes out first. If he can do the double Zeta well, then yeah, I think a Zeta Verka would be cool. A Mark II Verka? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe that would be cool. Yeah, but oh, this needs to be sanded a little bit more. The old MG Double Zeta is really, really flawed. It's not a great kit. So how the hell does this go in? Oh, there's a certain way it goes in. The Hyakushiki 2.0. Yeah, I want the Hyakushiki 2.0. I've wanted it for a while, but what the fuck? Sorry, it's this is a little more complicated than I thought. I thought you just go and then it's done. Okay, this goes up this way. Okay, I see how this will work. Okay. What was I talking about? The Hyakushiki 2.0. Yeah, it looks cool, and I definitely want it. But I'm afraid that I'll get it and not like the gold. I haven't seen it in real life, so I don't know how good the gold is. In all the pictures and reviews, I think it looks great. Like I don't think I would repaint it, but I've had that happen to me before, where it looks great in the reviews and it looks great on the box and it looks great in the pictures, and then you get it and it's like, damn it, I actually don't like the colors. But I just started with Gundam model kits. I don't know where to buy the sanding blocks like the ones you have. Home Depot and Lowe's. Yep. Don't overpay for sanding sticks or sandpaper. Just go straight to the hardware store. Same goes with brushes. Don't buy like model brushes. Just go to like Michael's or Hobby Lobby and go to like the like artist brush section, and then go to like the they have like different levels. Level 1 is like beginner artist. Go to like that section and get your brushes there. The model brushes, quote unquote, from like testers and stuff, they're really shitty. So I think if we get a MG Akatsuki, I hope Bandai has the same style gold for it. Yeah, me too. I really don't like chrome gold. I think it's really ugly. Oh, I can even... but the... Okay, got it. Cool. See how this is gonna work. All right. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I think about chrome gold. The only place I like chrome gold are like on pistons, you know, stuff where like it would actually be chrome gold. Otherwise, it's just really, really ugly. I do make an exception for the Phoenix though, or Phoenix, whatever the hell it's supposed to be called. It looks alright in chrome gold. I have seen that one in real life, and it's decent looking. But yeah. Yeah, the MG Phoenix. It's alright, it's decent. It, for whatever reason, the chrome kind of fits the design a bit better than anything else. So that's one thing that should have been Bandai. Yeah, I think at that point they weren't really making too much pre-Bandai stuff. That's whatever. Just out of curiosity, does anybody have news on like the bootleggers like Dabon and TT Hongley and stuff? I know Dragon Momoko's still around and they just announced their Exio thing, but Dabon has been really quiet ever since they released the well, I know they just recently released the MG quote unquote Akatsuki, sorry, Matsumina, TT Hongley or whatever, Gao, whatever the hell it's called. I think they're pretty much gone. Maybe they're still making straight reprints. Okay, those chain drives are done. Yeah, probably. I mean, the Asian Exia Avalanche. Why? I don't understand Davon. They make the weirdest decisions. That would cost Bandai too much money. Yeah, I know the Asian copyright laws are a bit different. So I don't know how much. Yeah, Dark Magician Girl. Represent. Did you always have to use the Tamiya cement to erase the joint areas? What do you mean? Do you mean seam lines? If you mean seam lines, yes. My technique is to use Tamiya cement. Or thin cement, whatever. That's my technique. The real technique, the best technique, is to take putty to it and repaint it. I'm just going back through the messages. Yeah, I know Dragon Momoko's coming out. Like, I follow bootleggers just out of curiosity because I like to see. I'm a little curious. I have a small curiosity for business and business practices, so I'm just curious as to, like, you know, Bandai releases something. I want to see what the bootleggers like. Well, I would want to see what the competition's doing, but Bandai doesn't really have official competition. They just have the bootleggers, so I like to just see what the bootleggers are trying to do. But yeah, I mentioned this in my last stream. Yeah, Dragon Momoko. They make really good decisions. Like, really, if they were official, I think their business their business decisions and practices would really benefit them. Supernova. Oh yeah, Supernova did come out with that weird ass MG Sandrock. Yeah, that's the Supernova. Oh, that thing is so ugly. The one, I mean, the was it the Nataku that they released, Supernova release? Oh, that thing was disgusting. It was so ugly. And the yeah, that Sandrock was like really gross. The what's it called? The Chautels on the Sandrock, they really screwed those things up, man. Okay, actually there is an exception to me buying a bootleg. If someone wanted it, like, if I had a friend who wanted, like, let's say the Dragon Momoko Death Scythe, and they were like, hey Jesse, you know, like, this is what I want for my birthday, could you build it and, like, paint it and stuff? Yeah, that's the only time I would buy from bootleggers. Who released the bootleg shit, the bootleg PG Unicorn? Was that Dragon Momoko? I can't remember right now. That was a really strange decision. That was, like, weird. Alright, it was Dragon Momoko. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Like, it was barely different from the Bandai release. Like, at least with stuff like the Testament Gundam and the Death Scythe, at least it's different. Almost entirely. Almost. I guess the things that really, like, you know, let's forget about the whole bootleg stuff and just kind of critique Dragon Momoko's designs and bootlegger designs. So, for the most part, I remember the really popular thing was just to take the metal builds in and turn them into plastic model kits, which is fair. But the thing I really hate about their original designs, like the Testament and the out frame and stuff, two major things. One, they covered in panel lines like all over the place, and there's a big difference between like detail and panel lines. Like, if the panel lines don't make sense, then I don't really consider it more detail. I just consider it just bad design. You know, detail for me is like working pistons, rivets and struts on the inner frame, panel lines that actually make sense, that look like the armor's broken up in a logical way. But Dragon Momoko tends not to do that. So that, and it's, their designs are really edgy, like both like design wise, like there's a lot of edges and spikes and stuff, and like 14-year-old black clothes and one-eyed covered with hair, sort of edgy, and I don't like that. So like, those are two. That's one thing I really don't like, is their detail, quote unquote. The second thing I don't like are the hands. They keep including the little detail hands with the fucking covers for like the 00 kits. Actually, I have on the hands here. So this is like, you see this cover? That's like the one they include on nearly all their kits, and the hands are wrong. They're all wrong, and for whatever reason they do this on every single kit. Design your own damn hands. I think they did, right, with the Testament, and it's like a pseudo 3.0 hand, but it's really bad. Yeah. It sucks too, because like, I don't know. Dragon Momoko is Taiwanese, right? I think they are. But the like Southeast Asia and Japan, they tend to like designs that are more, you know, Bullet for My Valentine edgy. And like they tend to like that even into adulthood. Here in the States, a lot of people a majority of people tend to grow out of that. Like, suddenly knives and guns aren't all that cool anymore, because you work a desk job or whatever. But yeah, I know that's the reason why they design the kits the way they design them, because it just appeals to a larger audience, their larger market. So. And if you like that, by the way, if you like super edgy designs or whatever, like, don't let my words hurt or affect you. You like whatever the hell you like, you know. But personally, that's something I used to like a lot. Like, oh man, I need spokes everywhere. Like when I was a kid and drew in my little sketchbook. Yeah, I mean, some of the weapon designs I had in my like anime sketchbook, totally, like, Dragon Momoko should just pay me for those designs, because they would fit with any other Gundams. Any other kits, I should say. Oh, I had some pretty bad ones. Like triple sights and, like, double-ended whatevers. Swords and shit. So a clear piece is supposed to go between these two gray pieces, so I'm not gonna connect these. Although I might be able to, just to see. Okay, well, manual, help me. hold on, what piece is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I can't connect those. They won't come apart. Yeah. So they connect like this, but as you can see, they need the clear piece in between to keep them together. Same with the GN drives. Or not. Well, okay, kind of. It's like almost no resistance there. So we're gonna line these and then that'll be it for the stream, but yeah. The eventual 2.0 Seed Destiny series. What could they do to? I mean, I'm looking over my shoulder right now because I currently have the Strike Freedom MG and the Destiny MG duking it out over here on a shelf. And looking at those two kits, I don't think they would do 2.0s. Oh, so a thing about this Tamiya weathering stuff is you really want it thin, so make sure that on your little applicator the ink's actually thin. And the way you can do that is just touch it in here, touch the side of the bottle, and just kind of see how thin it is running down the side of the bottle. That way it actually flows correctly, because right now it wasn't very thin when I touched it and it just kind of globbed up, so when I go to clean it I have to clean that up. Process do a release for ones that never got a release. I was shaking this one. I don't know who you're watching. I shake my bottles. Oh, fuck. I can't hold this piece. Okay, there we go. I shake that shit. I don't shake them like, maybe I don't shake them long enough. That's possible. I will say, as much crap as I've talked about the 00 riser and its design, it has grown on me a bit. Just as just how like every kit that I build grows on me. Like I didn't really like the Grim, how do you say, the Grimgird or whatever. But now that I built it, it's actually a design I really like. Probably one of the best designs out of Gundam. And it's weird how your opinion can change from thinking the worst ever to the best ever. What I do in the bathroom is my business. Okay, that's done. For anyone who wants to see what this kind of looks like, it looks like you absolutely ruined the piece, but in reality, you're making it beautiful. At one point, when I first started my channel, and I kind of still want to do this, I wanted to like do reviews and videos like Bob Ross, and I wanted to call my channel Gunpla with Ross, or like whatever. But I'd have to practice my Bob Ross a little bit before I just started doing that. Happy little panel lines. But you gotta be like dedicated to that. I'd have to like buy a wig and shit. It wasn't just gonna be like, this had some heart, like the idea had some heart in it. Like it wasn't just gonna be, the camera pointed at the kit, and then just Bob Ross, fuck, I dropped it, and just Bob Ross talking. It was gonna be like me with a wig. Trying to pick up this piece without touching the panel line. I don't know, we're good. Bob Ross is good ASMR. You should do it. Happy little trees, happy little clouds. I'll do like one maybe, and if it works out, I'll make it a thing. But it has to be special at this point. Like, I can't just suddenly switch to Bob Ross. I gotta like decide what kind of videos would warrant Bob Ross. You're sort of doing ASMR. I have been told that people like that my voice is soothing, which I don't know. I think someone on Reddit once mentioned he or she wanted to do a Gundam, like wanted to start a YouTube channel that would be like Gundam and ASMR. Free real estate. And I don't know if that person ever I don't know if that person ever went through with it. Guess you could find them on YouTube if they did. Okay, it's like 2 more panel lines I forgot to do on this little condenser. Okay, oh, forgot about these. Do these even have any sort of panel lines worth panel lining? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, there's no point in doing those. Earlier, when I started the stream, I don't know if I was like nervous or what. Here are the clear pieces, by the way. Again, not cutting them out. I don't even know why I took them out of the box, but not cutting those out yet. Yeah, earlier in the stream, I was like, all right, let's start this backpack. And then I cut out this piece, which is just, I have no idea what this is supposed to go to, but it was the wrong piece. So now I just got to remember I cut out C1. So yeah. So we got everything lined. We got we built the backpack. We built the GN drives and condenser, and we lined it all. So, you know, at this point, the next step would be to clean up the panel lines, which is, you know, leave it for some time and then clean them up, then decal, and then weathering. The next time I stream, it'll be me weathering the backpack. I won't put you guys through me decaling. That's not interesting or exciting. And yeah. And then what else do we have? What's left to build on this guy? The riser for sure. But what accessories does this guy have? Alright, so I know this guy comes with a lot. I plan to like, oh no, I should weather the riser similarly to the mobile suit because it's gonna be attached to it, so it should all come together. But the weapons he has are these 2 shield things that go on his shoulders and 2 like guns. And the shield things will be weathered similarly to the rest of the suit, and the guns will be weathered a little differently because yeah, I really hate 00 weapon designs, if I'm to be honest. The only weapons I like are all the variations of the GN sword and the Dynamis' sniper. Aside from that, the rest of the weapons are I really hate them. Cause like how the hell is this a gun? I mean, come on. Anyways, okay, so he's got that. And then we have the riser, and then the side binders. and then the GN Sword 3. So, yeah, we still got a lot to do on this guy. Holy crap. I just got to this page where it was like nothing but information on how the O-Riser can do all this crazy crap. But yeah. This guy's a project, that's for sure. And when I asked the customer, you know, we were talking about commissions, and I told him, like, you know, usually whenever I try to talk commissions with someone, they never know what they want, and when I suggest something, we can never come to like a conclusion about what to build. Usually it ends up me saying, okay, the price, and then the guy goes like, oh no, but I just want to pay the, like, let's say he wants an HG, right, which is 30 or 20 bucks, and I tell him like, well, you know, with supplies and paint and time, I want 50 or 60 bucks, which to me is reasonable. I don't know about you guys. But then he'll say, but no, I just want to pay for the kit. It's like, that's not how commissions work, man. But this guy, he's done commissions before, he understands and stuff, so. But anyways, the point I'm trying to get at is, I asked him, well, do you have a suit in mind? Like, what kit do you want me to do? And he goes, MG Double O Riser. And I was like, fuck. I don't want to build that kit. But I'll admit, it's a pretty fun build. It is a fun build. I've come to appreciate it some more, so it's not a total loss. One more thing I want to talk about. Something nearly catastrophic happened today. My cat's knocked off my Final Shot diorama. I've got it right here because I had to repair it. So this is a diorama I did a long time ago. This is my first diorama. This is the HG Revive RX-78, and as you can see, I used the beam saber part to make the shooting effect. And this was sitting on a top shelf that my cats have never ever been up to, and they've been trained not to do it. And the beam part, like the beam saber, broke because they knocked it off. Not the whole diorama, thankfully. What happened is they knocked a kit that was sitting next to this thing over, and it fell and knocked this thing off. And it happened while we were at the movies, me and Kristen. So I came back to find that I couldn't find the beam saber or the end of the beam rifle. It turns out I never glued it on. I thought I did. So we searched all over the apartment, and luckily we found the beam rifle's barrel, but the the shooting effect part was like bent like at 90 degrees. So one of the cats had a field day with it. But we found it. I was able to repair it, and I grabbed the spare beam saber because I have like a warehouse size crate full of just beam sabers from how many kits I've built, so it was no problem. But finding the barrel piece was what I was panicking about. But yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm really proud of this thing. I love this diorama, so I was actually kind of upset when I saw that it broke, as you know, you'd probably be. But yeah, so that's just a little bit of news and excitement that happened today. I'm waiting for the glue on there to completely dry. I use super glue. It should be dry by now, but just gonna leave it overnight. Actually, I'm gonna just bring it and put it right here. So yeah, catastrophe. My cats. So I hated cats. Like, before getting a cat, I absolutely hated cats. I did not want a cat. Every cat I've ever met has been mean to me. But my apartment, the only animal they allow are cats, and I'm an animal person, so like I wanted something, but my only choice was cats. And so I did a bunch of research to like see why are cats so mean. And it just turns out they're really sensitive creatures, so you can't discipline them like you can a dog. And for whatever reason, most people do that, and so it turns cats really, really mean. And so I decided if I'm going to get a cat, first I'm going to get a young one, and I'm going to train it and raise it correctly. And so that's what happened. Like, positive reinforcement, making sure that when you discipline them, you don't actually hit them or anything, like you use noise to discipline them, and etc., etc., play with them daily. And so my first cat is really, really, really well behaved and stuff, and they're like Lay's potato chips. You can't just have one. So I ended up getting another cat and doing the same thing and raising him correctly. And they're both like the nicest cats ever. And everyone who comes over to the apartment, the first thing they say is, "Wow, like your cats are so well behaved. These are the only cats I like," etc., etc. They're super sweet. They've never swiped or tried to claw anybody, including myself or Kristen. So I don't know. You just gotta approach. They're just very sensitive creatures. They're just different. That's all. I can't say that I prefer dogs because I used to prefer dogs, but now I have cats and I like them both equally. I want a dog. Like eventually I will get a dog when I get a house, but yeah. Well, so you say dogs are more funny and more fun to play with, but like you haven't seen a cat do like a corkscrew through the air trying to catch like a piece of string. Once you do that, like when you do it yourself, it's so much fun. And I don't know, cats are pretty funny. I don't know. I can see the appeal of cat videos now once you like live through a cat video. Yeah. But I think I'm gonna be. Have you done the laser pointing thing with the dog? Yeah, they don't do anything. If you've done laser pointing thing with a cat, it's amazing. It's the cheapest toy on earth, and you get the most fun out of it. But anyways, I kind of wanted to end the stream now because I wanted to go play some games, and I'm done working here and I'm just babbling. So again, the next stream will be me weathering the backpack and GN drives and stuff, and then maybe I'll start building the accessories then as well. But just stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye bye.